Hang in
Dude,
there. It
that
is Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
We are live. It's a major week. This is The Smylie Show. I'm currently in my house in Durham, North Carolina, about an hour and a half away from Pinehurst because I've made the regrettable decision to shuttle back and forth in between Durham and Pinehurst this week. Smylie is sitting in what looks like a very white kitchen somewhere in the village of Pinehurst. She's ready to rock and roll this week. So, and you are, I mean, before we go anywhere else, you are fresh off the course, Pinehurst number 2. You just watched a little golf involving Jordan, JT Ricky, and one Tiger Woods. How was that?
And Charlie Woods. So he was out there.
Wow.
I was just kind of hanging out in the background, just chilling. First impressions of Pinehurst. Ouchies. This place is going to be hard. I'm telling you. I was blown away at how I don't remember how hard the golf course is. So that was first impressions. We got a good amount of rain last night because I was flying into Charlotte and the weather went right through Pinehurst, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. Like, the golf course still looks very firm. The Bermuda greens is a huge change in difference. And I know we're going to get into a full recap of Pinehurst this week, but instant impressions from talking to Justin. He said on the first hole today that he putted 2 balls off the green.
Oh.
He said he's never seen greens this quick on a Monday. So he probably guesstimated that maybe 5 balls were putted off the greens on their back 9 today, just putting to the corners of the green. So the greens are really quick. And yeah, the Tiger looked really good, by the way. I
Really?
know, it's you know, we say this every time. He's still really, really good at golf. And this is kind of the place that you would think if there's anywhere, it's going to be warm, it's firm, should be easy on the joint, it's going to be hot. He's going to be sweating more than anybody. And I'm just so impressed with how good he is still, not only with his ball striking, but, man, his chipping is just absurd. Absurd.
Yeah. And that's something you're definitely going to need this week at Pinehurst, with the way some of those greens run off, and you end up with some wonky lies in and around the greens. I mean, it's, to me, and again, we'll get into this in the preview, but having played this course a few times, being close to home, it just always strikes me, to your point, always firm and fast. It's that sand base, that Pinehurst sandhills, where everything drains, and you rarely, if ever, get that course, wet or soft. And you can hit dry. I think it's so important to not only have like a target, like a landing zone off the tee, but paying attention to what the ball is going to do on the ground, because it's so easy for that ball to roll and get in some of those native areas where the grass is up. And then, you have a tricky shot into some of these green complexes with the runoffs and everything around it. So having a good short game, as Tiger does, I didn't think the walk was crazy bad. It's a little bit of up and down at Pinehurst, but I don't think it's going to be crazy, difficult maybe for Tiger this week in terms of the strain on his body. So, I mean, it's hard to not always get your hopes up when it's Tiger Woods, but it's a good early report from Pinehurst.
And one good story, just at the end of the day, everybody's kind of gathered at the back of the green at 18. The pin was on the very front, which was right just short of a false front. So if you're putting from the back of the green, really easy to putt it off the green. I already mentioned to you how guys were putting it off the green in the practice round. So they're all back there. They're gathered, and I see Justin talking to Charlie, and Charlie he's got Jordan's putter in his hand, and I immediately perk up and I walk over there, because this is where I get in on the action, because this is where I shine. Give me the putter, give me the 60-footer, maybe I'll hoop it. But it wasn't my turn this time. It was Charlie Woods' turn, and JT set the parameters of the bet as, if I recall, I didn't hear the numbers involved, but something like, you owe me money if you put it off the green. And that was like the first thing I heard.
Okay.
3 putt, you owe me money, or something like that. 2 putt, I'll give you $100 or something. If you make it, we'll all throw in, whatever. It probably would have made a ton of money. And he actually hit a great putt, misread it, hit it to like 8-10 feet, and then like whipped out the next one. So he 3-putted, so he probably owes JT some money. But still, he used Jordan's putter too, and I will say that putter is a bit cold, so you can't blame the guy.
Well, and that's something we need to dig into because, we are here primarily to recap the memorial tournament that was just played, and we led into that week with Smylie Kaufman, the newsmaker, breaking some news on the putter front for Justin Thomas and saying maybe Jordan was considering something. That's not mine to share. I'll ask you this: was he using his current gamer? Is he stuck with that putter for the U.S. Open?
He still has his gamer. I was a little surprised.
Okay.
I kind of thought we might see one of the mallets that he has cooking up, and I've gotten my hands on one of them. It sits pretty. We'll see if he starts using that down the road. I know from talking to him, he finds that the mallets are way easier to line up, which I think that's fair for most guys. That they get a mallet and they see that, oh wow, this is pretty easy to line up. But I think he's still, especially on really quick greens, I don't blame him keep sticking with the gamer because he's got such great feel with that putter. I think it'd be really weird first week with a new putter to go to really, really fast greens. So that's probably smart.
Yeah.
JT, yeah, he still had his blade. I should have asked him how the first week was with it, but I didn't. But he still has it, and I think he was okay with how he putted last week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I think, let's see here. I need to go to event average here just to see where he shook out in terms of strokes gained. He lost just less than a shot on the greens, but I think relative to what the way he'd been putting for the year as a whole, I think that's an upgrade if I'm not mistaken. I can double check that as well. I think the strokes gain numbers were a little worse on the weekend maybe, but it felt like also eye test too, just watching him, like it felt like he was making a lot more runs to the hole than he would maybe with that mallet before. So it was kind of nice to see, and it pains me so greatly, being the putter tinkerer sicko that I am, to not be able to get into the details of this putter of Jordan's. But I've already I've said, look, if he's trying to get rid of it, there's a guy who's happy to get his hands on that and roll a few putts with it. So
it's good looking. And the last thing I'll say about the U.S. Open in Pinehurst this morning, as we're going to get into this memorial breakdown. So I'm looking for the group. I know they're on the back nine. I'm kind of getting my wits about me on the golf course. And I text the boys, it's like, hey, where are you guys? And I rounded a corner and I see thousands of people. I said, never mind, found you, all good. And so at that time, Ricky's always got his phone out. He had already texted me, but it's just, you wouldn't believe how many people were following this group this morning, because I look at the crowd, and especially on 18, you have kind of there's more grandstands, more options for people to sit. All the grandstands were filled up. It felt like a Saturday afternoon on a Monday morning at 9:30. It was, everybody's like, what in the world is going on? It's like
7:29 a.m. practice round to have those crowds on a Monday. It's
I'm
amazing.
telling you, there was no other fan on the rest of the golf course. Singular fan. Yeah. No fan on the rest of the course. They were all falling in this group. So I was happy I got out there this morning. I definitely was exhausted just from we were circled Charlotte, and the drive took forever. And I tell you what, I ate Taco Bell last night. Didn't exactly.
Did you really?
There was nothing on the way in. It was either McDonald's, Taco Bell, or Arby's, and I don't know. Is there a right answer there? I'm sure there is. I'm sure that's like a debate within itself, is what's the best fast food options and what's the move. But I tell you what, I could have slept better.
What was the order?
So this is, I would have loved to have a Baja Blast or something with what I ordered, but I ordered it's the cheesy gordita crunch, I believe
so
is the
good.
taco. I think I got
So
two.
good.
I got two of those, and then I got a chicken quesadilla just in case I was starving, and so I had a little bit of that.
Look at the stats. 5 out of the top 6 televised rated games on the WNBA this year all involve Caitlin Clark. The only one that doesn't was a second half of a doubleheader in which Caitlin Clark played the first game.
Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this, look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
This is why I love this, is that this is how I know it's a major week, is we are back synced up on the fast food choices. Because if you remember at the Masters, we both hit the same Wendy's drive-through.
We didn't even
know it. And here we are again. I was on the way to Game 2 of the Super Regional in Chapel Hill, which, by the way, we need to get into this. I think I'm a full-on college baseball guy now. We did a deep dive on the Diamond Heels. But I was on the way to that game, and I was like, craving, I was like, I'm just going to pick up a quick meal. I don't want to eat the ballpark. I want to be locked in, sitting in the stands, taking it in. Where can I go? And I hit up Taco Bell. And I did the little Crunchwrap Supreme meal with some little cinnamon twist for dessert. And they actually gave you another taco with it.
Dessert. Oh my God.
I see Garrett Clemens in the comment, just finished a Baja Blast. Garrett, I hit a Baja Blast as well that night. It's nothing better. I thought it was gonna be worse than it was, and it turned out to be a pretty solid, as far as Taco Bell runs go, it was a pretty solid meal. So look at us.
I remember being on the phone with Fran at that Wendy's, because I hadn't been to Wendy's in however many years, and I'm trying to ask her, I was like, hey, what should I get from Wendy's? And I say, I see this chicken snap wrap thing. It's like grilled chicken, looks to be the healthier option, and. And as I was about to hang, I was like, hold on, Fran, I got to order real quick. And I said, can I get the double Baconator? And she was like, okay, that's quite the pivot. I was like, yeah, I kind of blacked out there. I don't know what happened.
It's a tough scene. The place I do this most often is Chick-fil-A. I'll do the chicken wrap there when I really want the fried chicken sandwich. But it's hard to go to a fast food restaurant and do the healthy option. You just feel like you're missing out. If I'm going to Wendy's, give me the double Baconator. That's what we're doing. We're just going to live with the results. That's how that works.
Yeah, that's the old gut bomb. But as we talk about college baseball, the only first off, congrats to Harrison Endicott and the North Carolina Tar Heels. If you don't
star center fielder,
if you don't understand the joke, this was last week or so when North Carolina beat LSU to go to Super Regionals, and now they're heading to Omaha. And the center fielder, I thought his name, I knew it was Vance Honeycutt, but it reminded me so much of Harrison Endicott that I asked him, hey, do you know who your center fielder is? And, of course, he's like, wait, Harrison Endicott, I feel like I know that name.
You almost caught me. Tour. you caught me there for a second, because you're like, you know who he is, right? And I was like, shoot, I don't know anybody in this lineup outside of Vance Honeycutt. Now I don't know if I know his name or not. I think I got caught in the line.
What am I doing? What am am I doing? And it's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna be in the final group with Harrison Endicott, and I'm just gonna be laughing.
Vance Honeycutt. Vance Honeycutt, by the way, very good at baseball.
Stud.
All 5 tools. I mean, I watched the man hit a first pitch home run, and then first pitch of the game for a home run, double a guy off first on a fly out, run down a ball. He's got all a bunt for a base hit that turned into they got a run out of it that inning. It was 2 outs. He bunts. A couple guys get on. He scores. Guy's crazy fast.
Look at you gloating over there. You're just gloating.
I'm so in. Let me just, and I won't spend too much time on college baseball. This is, of course, a golf podcast. Theoretically, this is the levels I went to as I'm sitting in the stands on Saturday. I go on Amazon and order my 1.5-year-old son a baseball glove. So I'm like, we're doing this thing. We're all the way in. We're all the way in on the college baseball life, and this is you. I have you to thank for this, really, because you kind of lit the fire.
Yeah.
The LSU UNC series got me going, but shout out to Vance Honeycutt and the boys going to Omaha. Shout out to is it? I'm gonna get the name wrong here. I always get the name wrong. DeCaro. It's Jason DeCaro, I think. And he had a really good game. I was sad to see him get pulled after 6 1/3, but I guess that's the way it goes these days. But it was fun watching that guy work. So, anyways,
are you familiar with Rocco's in Omaha?
No. Oh, that's the bar where they tally up how many drinks every team gets, right?
No, it's every Jello shot ordered.
Oh.
And LSU last year had 21,000 Jello shots. I'm trying to find the final tally. It looks like 21,435 is the last number I've seen. Nope, more than that. 23,000. And like the next closest is 6,000. So Rocco's is really upset that LSU's not coming to Omaha.
Yeah.
Not only do they go, they take over. But it's an LSU. Excuse me. It's an SEC ACC Omaha, which is I think pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got Florida. If you didn't see the Florida Clemson highlights, you need to go watch them because that series was insane.
Yeah,
you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I'm not. I'm in my lane. I'm in my North Carolina baseball lane. You know what I mean? We'll get to those highlights when we get there.
You're like, I'm such a big college baseball guy. I'm so all in, but you haven't seen the best game of the entire season. I mean, the guy got thrown out. The coach got thrown out in the top of the 10th, and then maybe it's the 12th, and the Florida ended up winning to go to Omaha. And this dude made this incredible catch in the outfield. You need to go check it out. Anyways, that's talking baseball. Whatever.
This has been talking baseball. We might bring this back from time to time. We'll workshop that one, but where we should turn eventually now is let's do a little Memorial Tournament recap, and we got some comments here that we can show using our little streaming service, Restream here. And so we'll start one with Gary on YouTube. Happy Monday, Scottie the dad on 18 green was the highlight of the week for me. We've noted this on numerous occasions. Love dad related content, love dad golf content on this show. I was actually picking up my dad and my mom from the airport as I was watching this on my phone, driving safely, just to be noted, but was watching the end of that tournament, watching Scottie, Meredith hand Scottie Bennett after, shaking Jack Nicklaus's hand and celebrating yet another win. It's Father's Day week. Like it just was, before we even get to the tournament, I think you have a good Scottie dad backstory as well to tell. Like it's just so fun watching Scottie win. He's such an easy guy to root for, and the fact that he is doing it the way he's doing it and being a dad and all these sorts of things, I couldn't love it anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean Scottie's like our dad hero, right? Like he's carrying the torch for all dads. And Scottie, I was talking to him on the third fairway. I was working with Golf Channel and following his group the entire day on Friday. And we're walking up to the green, and I'm just asking him, how's Meredith doing? How's Bennett doing? He's like, all good. And it's like, so how's rocking the old guy to sleep? He's like, it's really great. But, just when you think you get the guy down, and I put him down, and next thing you know, he just does one of these. And I was like, those eyeballs.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
1.81 goals against average, 920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I remember when I used to rock Anna Carter that I would like practice my golf swing. Like I would go like rock to the right, rock to the left. Like I was like focusing on my pivot. And I know I cannot be the only one that's ever done that because I'm like swinging to the right, swinging to the left.
I've definitely held Walker, you know the drill. Like you kind of see it, like I've definitely tried to hold him and like kind of brace him here and do a little bit of this action from time to time. It's just so funny, the flashbacks there, especially with the girl on the way in October, where all the work that I've done to get to a better place with Walker's sleep schedule is going to be right out the window, back to square one. Just
with Honeycutt home.
With Honeycutt, with AKA Huckabee Honeycutt. We're going to figure that one out. But that's hilarious from Scottie. I love that. It's a relatable moment if you're a dad. It's a sweet moment. I love that was where he wanted to go right after the win, is like, let me hold my son.
So good. It's
just really, really cool stuff. And then to the golf. I mean,
I have another good Scottie story.
Okay.
Get into his golf.
Do tell.
It's an all-timer. So anytime you get to a new tournament and you just don't know where the compound is, you have a parking pass, and the address that I have wasn't right. And so I pull up to the front gate and immediately know this isn't right. I know my compound is around here somewhere, but it ain't through the front door. So I'm kind of pulled over to the side as I was either on the phone with you or somebody else, and I realized like I need to hang up to try to figure out where the heck this compound is. And in pulls a couple cars. I gave enough room for the cars that are coming in to be able to get through the gate, to be able to drive to the clubhouse. And I look over to the left, and it's like this Nissan Rogue. It's not even like a Lexus stamped car. And I thought it was a Nike hat, and I was like, was that Scottie? And then I see, it was like just diagonal up to my left, and I see the window roll down, and Scottie does one of these. He sticks his head out the window. He said, "Hey, bro, you need any help getting through the gate?" And I was like, you know what, Scottie, I'll take it from here. He said, "All right, watch out. They're a little tight around here." And so I was just laughing my butt off, just the fact that, you know what, I don't think anybody should be taking any advice from Scottie on how to get through security or through a gate of any kind as we stand. And, not driving in a stamped. It was a Lexus car last week with the decal. So I'm already like, all right, you're kind of pushing the buttons here a little bit, Scottie. I would have probably came in, a car that was detailed like you were a tour player, but once again, not listening to what you got to do. But I just thought it was so funny, right? Like, what are the odds of that I'm just sitting there like trying to figure out like where I'm going, and then Scottie's trying to give me advice on how to get through security.
Well, what I love about it is that he's willing to make light of something that was, pretty traumatic at the time, and probably could be really upset about the fact that, look, we just watched him once again, win another signature event, and like there are just some stats on these things that are just, the run he's had this year. I think it was Fried Egg Golf that pointed this out to start, is like the run he's had this year, it would be a great career, but he's done it, halfway through the year. It's unbelievable. And so the fact that he could have had another major in that span, theoretically, if he didn't have that one off day on Saturday in the wake of everything that happened, a lot of guys would be pretty bitter about that, but he's just, rolling down his window, cracking jokes, being good natured about it. Just, we go on and on about the human being that Scottie is and why he's so easy to root for, but it's just, there continue to be things like that where you're like, golly, like, how can I not love you?
He's so easy to cheer for. And I will say that I need to watch my mouth a little bit on the air now, because on the 10th hole on Friday, I'm walking with him and he hits it way left of the green. Worst shot I've seen him hit in a while. And it's actually, I would hit a much worse shot. That's how not bad his shot was that he hit into the green. And he's left and he's absolutely screwed. And I didn't think he had any chance of getting up and down. And they come down to me and they ask me, how's the lie? What's the shot like? Well, Scottie's in like, I was in the process of saying he's in jail. And I was halfway, I had to pivot halfway through because I was like, this is jail over here. And then I started to think, I was like, man, I could say jail over here. And I was like, man, you got to throw away the keys. Got no chance of ever getting out from over here. Can you imagine if I just gone down that hole with that one?
It would have been a viral moment. It is hilarious that these are things we have to think about now with him, like never in a million years. And not that we're going to go down this rabbit hole, but there's been more. I'm sure you saw the additional footage that got released this week, and every single thing that comes out makes him look better and better.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. You have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. You have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." It's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. only on SportsGrid.
Let me read you some stats here from this is Kyle Porter at CBS put out a couple amazing ones. So the first one is if a PGA Tour golfer played the last 8 events Scheffler's played, API, Players, Houston, Masters, RBC Heritage, PGA Memorial, and he didn't note he also played Colonial in here, but the stat was factored in, and made the cut at all 8 and played them all to field average, he'd be about 5 over at the end of those 32 rounds. And that same time, Scottie Scheffler is 106 under. Here's a Justin Ray stat. 5 players have won the Masters, the Players, and the Memorial in their career. Scottie, Tiger, Freddie Couples, Raymond Floyd, Jack Nicklaus. Scheffler and Woods are the only players to win all 3 in the same year. And then one last one from Kyle Porter. The gap in total OWGR points between Scottie Scheffler and world number 3 Rory McIlroy is the same in the gap in total OWGR points between Rory and world number 613 Anthony Quayle. I just, and I know, and Kyle put another tweet out that was just looking at some peak numbers, and I know we do the hyperbole thing every time with Scottie, and it gets tired to some of, for every stat there is like this, there's another one that illustrates how far away not only he is, but everyone who's peaked was from Tiger Woods at his peak. But I mean, it's just, he just keeps getting closer and closer to that level of dominance, and you have to then match that with consistency year over year. But it's just truly unbelievable. And this was a week where you go look at his strokes gained, and he's a little bit just slightly positive there on putting. He lost some strokes on the green on Sunday putting, but can just find a way to get it done putting just about field average because he's just by far the best ball striker on the planet.
Well, he was top 10 in putting the first couple days and maybe into most of his round on Saturday, and he was in top 3 iron play on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And this golf course was a U.S. Open test, really small greens, rough was so thick. Greens got insanely firm on the weekend as I was out there watching. And, that golf course was really designed and made for someone like Scottie Scheffler. It really was his tournament to lose, I felt like. Where when you talked about earlier about Scottie Scheffler and Louisville at Valhalla, I thought it was really a fantastic interview that I listened to with Solly from No Laying Up and Brandon Chambly, and they talked a little bit about that test at Valhalla, and they they referred to the PGA, I believe it was Brandel, as an execution test, and I thought that was a really good way of putting it because it didn't necessarily test the best players in the world. It was more about who can execute the best, and I felt like this past week of Memorial, like you had to answer every single test that it was given it to you. It was 20, 30 mile an hour gust at times, firm, small greens. They're the 3rd smallest greens on the PGA Tour and much firmer, more rough, and a top 5 longest golf course on the tour. So we're just talking about a ridiculous track that Scottie Scheffler's totally built to win. And I will say it was if anybody's from up in that area, the Cottonwood, oh goodness, I guarantee there's gonna be some guys that show up with some type of allergies from last week, just stuffiness and just how difficult the golf course was. So I'll be interested to see how light Colin Morikawa and Scottie Scheffler take the early part of this week, because the U.S. Open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it is practice rounds that are so long. It feels like it's just you can't get around the golf course. There's so many people. You got to get tee times. It's not like last week in which there's only 70 players and that you can kind of zip around the golf course, and there is a pro-am, but it's a fun pro-am, and you only play 9 holes. So that's the only thing I think slowing down Scottie Scheffler right now, because from what I saw out here at Pinehurst this week, this guy's the odds I think reflect exactly where he should stand this week, which is probably going to be the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, and I mean, you had some notes on 16 in particular, and I think even when you're looking at the putting and what the stats tell you, the eye test you have to factor in, because on 16, where both those guys hit it off the tee on that par 3, it was, and then especially where Scottie hits his chip, you're thinking, oh, okay, we might have ourselves a golf tournament here, and then Colin proceeds to leave it even shorter than Scottie's chip. misses a long putt, and Scottie jars one. And I know he subsequently makes bogey on 17. It's back to a one-shot margin. But to me, I was like, man, he is making the ones he needs. There was a really good line in there, too, about, and I forget which round it was from, where just his relationship with Ted Scott, where there was a situation where he needed to hit a flop shot, and Ted's advice to him was, let's make the next shot, the highlight reel shot. This shot just needs to be good enough to get it on the green, give yourself an opportunity.
So love that.
And that's that relationship, and just where he's making putts where he needs to make putts. And don't get me wrong, the putting's got much better going to that mound. It's been incredible. Looks really good.
It looks
but
good.
It's just amazing. I mean, it's like, and I think Trevor maybe said it on the broadcast, where it's like, if he putts good, nobody has a chance. If he putts above average, he wins by a few shots. If he putts average, it's close, and if he putts poorly, he loses by a shot or two. I mean, that's where we're at. It's wild these days with him. But so 16, you had some notes on 16 in particular.
Not good. Still not good.
Still not good.
The 16th hole, it always has been probably one of the worst holes on tour because it just doesn't make sense. You got a pond short left. The wind is howling down off the left, and they've made it to where you have a bailout now. It used to be a bunker short right, to where it was pitched off that bunker to where if you were in there, it was hard to even keep that bunker shot on the green to a front pin. You basically had to leave it short of the green and chip up. And I'm all for testing the players, and I just don't think there's any drama to a shot to where the closest shot all day was in the morning and it was 16 feet away and there was no birdies on the hole. I just think that I liked, if we're going to compare and contrast just drama down the stretch, I like guys having to step up to the plate and have an opportunity to pull off a shot. And I don't think I think the 16th hole doesn't give you the only thing it gives you is aiming at the right side of the green and just go chip it and give yourself maybe something inside of 10 feet for par. Now, some people may be okay with that's what I like to watch. That's my viewing pleasure. Well, I like watching in the anticipation of Scottie Scheffler hitting a shot from 190 yards and the ball being in the air and hearing that it's on line and seeing where it lands. Like that to me is excitement. I think the 16th hole lacks excitement. I think it lacks besides maybe one pin or two pins maybe on the green, an opportunity to pull off a shot. But that back left pin, you can't do anything. I just think the hole should continue to move further and further to the right. I think the pond isn't necessary. It's not necessary where the tees are now. It's not my favorite hole, but 15 is way better from back.
Any similarities to the 4th at Riviera in that respect? It's sort of just an impossible puzzle to solve in a way, especially with that back left pin placement.
I think 4 at Riviera is perfect the way it is now. If you just get the correct grass short of the green, if you had Bermuda grass short of the green instead of something that it just lands so soft short of the green. I'm not sure exactly what grass it is. I haven't been back since I've played, and it just doesn't play like a true Redange should play and how it originally was designed. This hole it needs rethought. I think even Jack said on the coverage, it needs more of a slope that banks it off the right side to help you work it towards the back left side of the green. Because right now the only way to try to do it is to hook something in there. Well, guess what? You're not trying to hook anything over there near that hole location, the back left, because it's a yellow penalty area. It's like, why am I going to hit it out of bounds left? Like that, because that's basically what the pond serves as. It's out of bounds because now you get a good drop back to 130 yards or something like that. Just give me the right side of the green or a chip and go try to get up and down.
Yeah. Well, that was sort of an interesting, semi-turning point there. I mean, especially, if they both make par there and then 17 plays out the way it is, it's kind of tied coming down the stretch. But instead, both come down to it, both go long at 18, both get up and down, and Scottie wins the golf tournament. Should we turn now to talk about the runner-up and the one-and-done controversy surrounding the runner-up? Should I play a clip for you now? Would you like to dig into that, or do you want to wait on that?
One just last thought about just the round and watching it live. I think a lot of people, especially I think the highlight of the day for me when it got the juiciest was the 12th hole.
Look at the stats. 5 out of the top 6 televised rated games on the WNBA this year all involve Caitlin Clark. The only one that doesn't was a second half of a doubleheader in which Caitlin Clark played the first game.
Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Do you want me to make a statement, or do you want to issue yours first? Because I feel like we've sent this off to the rules committee, and they've made a ruling that is consistent with
Dude, you're the
all
rules
other
committee.
ruling.
This is ridiculous. You're the rules committee.
We can't reveal who is on or off the rules committee. That's behind closed doors. That's a very private matter. But I think it just made a consistent decision. It made a consistent decision. If you'll remember, the Bo Hostler, Wyndham Clark incident, that was, you made a pick, it was on the record, and then you went back and changed it and before the tournament.
Erroneous on all counts. I'll tell you exactly what happened on that week. First off, I didn't even know. I thought we had to pick two. Like, once you pick one guy, you're picking both guys. And so you're kind of making up the rules as we go. And then Wyndham Clark withdraws. And so I'm like, well, I picked Wyndham Clark for their team. So I feel like it was okay for me to have a backup pick, which I did. And so I think that's a fair withdrawal process. Now, you, on the other hand, picking Adam Scott, which is, by the way, if he would have played, great pick.
Top 10, lock for a top 10.
Just like how I love Tyrrell Hatton, he would have top 10 at Bay Hill this year, and I would have picked him. But my take here is that you should get half points or an asterisk on the trophy at the end of the year. We are in the year of the asterisk. Asterisk? Yes. Do you pronounce the S in the asterisk?
I think most pronounce the asterisk. They say it asterisk.
Asterisk.
Asterisk is it's like a diabolical way to pronounce that word. I'm not sure why.
Asterisk.
Asterisk is. Yeah, right. I mean, you do you, buddy. If you want to go asterisk, it's like someone's name. Asterisk. I mean, we
need to get Taylor Gooch on it to get the right pronunciation. He's got to walk us through this.
I'm willing to let Taylor Gooch adjudicate this matter as well. If he wants to come in and deliver a verdict and he wants to come on the show, let's sign him up. We could use it. All I'm saying is that, my rifle pick, Colin Morikawa, made 400 points. Yours unfortunately missed the cut.
Dude,
I'm back in the lead.
How do you miss the cut?
How do you miss the cut of his signature event with almost a no-cut event?
It's such a bad. And I talked myself into it. I did. I picked Jordan. I said, you know what? His driver it's going to lead him to the promised land this week. Oh, guess what? He was top 5 in driving again, and guess what? We missed the cut. So
Many would say time for a putter change.
I tried to debunk the trend that eventually his iron game would wake up with a good driver. Wrongo, but good for you for picking Colin. Half points is warranted, so good 200 points for you, and let's go on our merry way.
That is a full 400-point win.
It's literally a win. It's a win because none of us can pick Scottie.
None of us can pick Scottie, and this is, I think, the same amount of points you get for an opposite field win. 400, pretty sure, right?
No, you get 300 for that.
So this is a better than opposite field win. I loved Colin next week too. I kind of, I hate that I burned a guy that I think could win next week, but who are we kidding? Scottie's going to win next week as well. I mean, this week. That's right. The week that we are in now. Yeah. I mean,
we're live.
We're live. This is actually live right now.
We're in the middle of the now right now.
It's like Spaceballs. The scene from Spaceballs. You ever seen Spaceballs?
Oh god, another crazy movie I've seen that you're gonna throw at me.
It's Spaceballs.
Is this also on the Disney Channel?
Spaceballs is no. This is like an old Mel Brooks movie, I believe. This one's more understandable. Like you growing up in the era you grow up, not knowing the movie Brink is borderline criminal, but Spaceballs is more permissible. In fact,
we have a Ducks guy, bro.
We have a comment here from Ruben Rocha, which I'm going to pull up, that said, when you woke up today, did you tell yourself today I'm going to talk or today I'm going to skate? So, Ruben, shout out to you. Soul Skaters for life. Hashtag Team Pup and Suds. So where do we go from here? Because I think we go a lot of different directions. We could do a little bit more on this tournament, but we also have to note that your squad got a big dub in Houston this week. The Cleeks are officially on the board.
We could not be more back. And for somebody who's been a Cleeks fan their entire life, it's just really good to see. Samuja, I think, is on our team now. Really play some solid golf. Richard Bland doing his thing like he always does. And then Martin Keimer just lighting the candle from the past. Here we are, U.S. Open Piners this week. And I just may have to pick the Cleek team captain. Just might have to put that hat on and say, Martin Keimer could be that dude again.
I mean, I think it's a great turn back the clock opportunity for you. If at a U.S. Open you played in at Pinehurst, you saw, I mean, I don't know how much you saw of Martin Keimer in person. You didn't play in the same group as him, but you were there on site for the Magic. So, I mean, what better way to take a little bounce off the Cleeks win right into, the first major win, maybe the most improbable major win of all time. Martin Keimer got it done this week, but big one for the Cleeks, big one for the Cleeks. And
it looks really hot. It looks really hot in Houston.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, we got a packet we have a LIV stats packet sent in by Sean Laurie, who it's amazing. There are sections of this stat sheet that I don't even know how to properly read them. He's got like a freeloader award on here. We're gonna have to go in depth on Sean on this sheet. But so just a little trivia, a little LIV trivia. Do you know which team has the most team wins and the second most team wins? And can you name the 3 teams that still have not won a team event on LIV?
Okay, I'll start with the second question.
Okay.
The Ironheads have not won an event.
Correct.
The Majestics have not won an event.
Correct.
And shoot,
the last one's a little tricky, but do you want a clue?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Stingers.
Stinger has won 2 events.
Okay.
It is Phil Mickelson's High Flyers, still winless. All time.
I should have known that. What was the first question?
So which team has won the most LIV events all time?
Aces.
4 aces with 7. And do you know who's won the second most team events all time?
Crushers.
Crushers with 6.
Yeah.
You're up on your LIV trivia.
Yeah.
AKA Livia.
Panthers minus 2.5 games, plus 330. Panthers 2+ goals in every game, plus 225.
It's going to take a monumental effort for them not to get 2 goals in a game. It's going to take what Bobrovsky did last night. It's going to take Skinner to do in Edmonton. They're not going to do it in Florida.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the room, what are you doing with the Judge MVP number? Books are now 2-1, standalone favorite. What are you doing with the Judge number?
What do I do with the MVP? I let them bet Judge at what? Even money? Come on in. I mean, you have to acknowledge now that he's the guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back too. I guess this. Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, "Look, don't come back." I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
The design, just love the design. It's a golf course that I could play every day. It kind of starts and goes way out, comes all the way back, and just beautiful par threes with some nice template holes. That the famous thumbprint hole at 16 was awesome, and I actually tipped it out, and I played really good. I shot a couple under, I shot in the 60s, so that was exciting for somebody who's kind of been out of playing good golf this year. And then on Friday, I played the golf club in Columbus and was ready to quit the game. So I've gone from turning pro to throwing my clubs away. Actually, in Charlotte last night when I landed, I was waiting for my golf clubs to come out, and I secretly was like, I hope they don't even show their face. I hope they stay back there forever. So that's where I was. And then this is actually earlier in the day, I talked to Josh Gregory. I was like, bro, I hit it like crap yesterday. Give me something. And so he's got me a little swing tip. So I got something to work on. Yeah.
Okay.
He said my right hip was screwing me up, my right side. Said I was opening up too early. So he just wants me to try to hit high draws. I'm like, buddy, I can't hit high draw. He's like, you need to go try. I was like, okay, I'll go try to hit high draws.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, that feels like we're moving somewhere in that direction. I mean, it's all. I went out to Old Chatham to see John Marino again because I had, as we report on this podcast, the briefcase of the Shanks. And so I think we have a fix. But I'm playing in an alt shot tournament with my dad on Father's Day that could go very, very poorly if they're not fixed. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for a full report on that.
For everybody.
And that's about as good as place as any to wrap this thing up. I think, I mean, we really what we should be telling you now is to get ready to tune in for the U.S. Open preview show that we're dropping on Wednesday morning. We're recording Tuesday night at the Pinecrest Inn, Pinehurst Institution. Very excited about that. They got a great little old school bar there. They have a great pork chop. That's like their famous thing. They serve a good pork chop there. So
Noted.
we'll check it out on Thursday night. But yeah, we're recording Thursday night for the Pinecrest Inn. If you're in Pinehurst, come say what's up. Would love to see you. And then that will drop Wednesday morning. And then of course, like every major, we're gonna have journals out after play on Thursday Friday and Saturday night, which will be coming pretty late because play will not end until about 8 p.m. and you're going to be out there hoofing it around all day long. So that's kind of our slate. And then the following Monday, we'll have just a show very much like this, a live stream where we're kind of recapping all the action, taking questions via the chat and things like that. But that's the slate for U.S. Open week, Smylie. Any other notes you want to add?
Let's see. I'm just trying to get my wits about me in Pinehurst. Like, I think I need to just like drive around town because I'm kind of staying out in the boonies, and I just feel like even when I played in Pinehurst back in 2014, I stayed at a hotel. I don't think I really experienced Pinehurst, so I need to go into the Village. I've heard that's a thing, so I need to take it all in. So that's my only note. If you have recommendations on where I need to eat, that would be great because right now I'm just. Are
you a big coffee guy? Like you like a good breakfast scene, right? All right,
yes.
go to the Pine Scone Cafe. There's one in Southern in Southern Pines, and there's one in Pinehurst, and they have like this daily selection of all these different types of scones that are unbelievable. They have like a chocolate chip toffee scone, but they also have like savory like ham and chive scones. Great coffee options. I'll go to the Pine Scone Cafe. They close mid-afternoon, but like I'll finish playing around in the morning at Pinehurst and go hit it up for like a coffee on the way out and a scone because it's that good. The place is electric. So there you go. There you go for other food. I'm not sure. I have to hit people up, but coffee, breakfast. There you go. Dial that one in.
So we're going to be doing on our Wednesday show full recap of not recap preview. Open. I'll have a ton of more information about the golf course, the tournament, the field. So I think that's the only other note is that one and done picks will be during that. Maybe build out some lineups here and there. But I think just kind of letting the tournament, salivate a little bit, kind of breathe and just let me get the next 24, 36 hours underneath me. And I think we'll be ready for that show tomorrow night.
Yeah, go get you a little scone, walk the property, and we'll get it together. So. In any event, we really appreciate all of you joining us live to watch. And if you're a podcast listener, this will be out in a few hours. But very much appreciate you joining us. And, yeah, we'll be back here in a couple days with a full U.S. Open preview. So we will talk to you then.